Welcome to JMW's Inside Man YouTube channel. David Smith is a partner within JMW's data protection team. So, David, there's been an interesting decision by the European Court of Human Rights. What's happened?
Yeah, it is very interesting. So it's a case in Belgium, actually, involving a person who is only known as G for reasons that will become obvious as we go through this, against a newspaper called Le Soir, which is one of the biggest French language newspapers in Belgium. So it's a big newspaper, relatively speaking. I mean, newspapers are smaller than they used to be. But what's quite interesting about this is they've put their entire archive online. It's fully searchable, and in fact can be spied by Google as well. And this chap G, some time ago, about 20 years in the past history, had a drink driving conviction. For varying reasons, it was reported in Le Soir. He's rehabilitated. He's served his sentence. He's never done anything wrong since that anyone knows of. He is a doctor. But if you Google his name, this link to the archive in Le Soir comes up all the time. And his position before the Belgian courts was that this has no relevance to today, and I have a right to be forgotten. And that's not just a right under the GDPR, but it's actually a right under Article 8, a right to private and family life. In other words, everything I do shouldn't be accessible for everybody all the time. And that's quite interesting because, of course, even if you say this is I have a right to be forgotten, you could still go into the physical archive of this newspaper and find out. So one thing that's quite interesting about this is the extent to which online archives change the dynamic.
What does that mean for ordinary people like you or I, who may have had less favourable reporting in newspapers or elsewhere?
The UK courts have said it does depend on each case. And I don't think that the European Court really undermines that position. It is quite fact-specific. The set of events in this case are, I would say, unique, but they are specific to an event. You know, that the guy is not in public life. What happened in the past is in the past. He was sentenced, he served time, he's rehabilitated. It doesn't have any relevance to what he does now. And all of those things being true, then he probably had a right to be forgotten. And there may well be other people in similar circumstances. Clearly, it's not the same as, for example, if he'd been struck off as a doctor and was continuing to seek to practice as a doctor, because that probably does have relevance. So there's a series of cases against Google about this from the past where some people were able to get their details removed from Google and some were not. So it sort of builds on that. It kind of depends on the circumstances and on the particular newspaper article. But yeah, the reality is that there are people who have been reported on in newspapers who might well be searchable on online archives, who might well have a right to have their data forgotten. I mean, it does also depend on the nature of the way the online archive was searchable. What made this particularly egregious is that the archive was set up in such a way that the Google search engine was picking it up.
And how can you and the data protection team here at JMW Solicitors help individuals who'd like to exercise their right to be forgotten?
Well, I've actually provided advice to a journal who was looking at exactly this issue. So it's nice to know that my advice was broadly correct. So we could advise people who are thinking about making these archives more available, what they can and can't do, and how they should think about the projects. We could advise people who feel that they have had their data unfairly put online, and we can advise organisations who think that actually it's perfectly justified to put that data online. We can cover the full sweep, and happy to do so.
David, thank you for your insight. If you'd like to contact David and the data protection law team here at JMW Solicitors, you can email insideman@jmw.co.uk or call 0161 82 81 999. Please also subscribe to the JMW Inside Man YouTube channel for the latest legal news, hints and tips. I'm Dominic Walker, JMW's Inside Man.